Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I am Ryan Bolin. Thank you all for joining me. What I want to talk about in this video is an extension on the Kanye West debacle. Okay, now I know I've talked about this several times before, but I just found out something that I was not aware of that occurred last week that supposedly Kanye West said. Okay, and I wanted to cover that in this video because what I am seeing here is a dangerous setup that will be similar to Nazi Germany. And I'm going to explain to you what I mean by that as we get into this article. But apparently, this occurred last week, and according to this article, Kanye West apparently stated that, let's read the article. I'm going to read into the article. Rapper and entrepreneur Kanye West claimed last week that the U.S. is being run by, quote, 300 Zionists. One of many anti-Semitic statements that he has continued to make despite criticism and pleas for him to stop. Now, let's read into this. Let me read this article. You got to hear this. In a clip that was posted and reposted by extremists on social media, West is seen to claim, quote, somehow our country has been taken over by, maybe about 300 Zionists. He does not define the term Zionist. And let me let you guys listen in on what he has said here. And it's really short. It's only like 9 seconds or something like that. But I want you guys to listen in on an audio clip of what he exactly said. So here it is here.
We are influencers, and somehow our country has been taken over by maybe about 300 Zionists. Yeah.
Only about 9 seconds of that. But those were his words. And he says that America is taken over by 300 Zionists. And I explained that to some extent what the Zionists are. But let's go on here. Let's go on with this article. It says, now this is what the article explained. This is what the writer of this article explains Zionism is. Zionism is the belief in the right of the Jewish people to national self-determination. And the writer of this article is right on that concept. I mentioned in the last video that Zionism is a political concept, a political movement, okay? Not necessarily associated with Judaism or the Jews in general, but it is a political movement. And it says, so Zionism is a belief in the right of the Jewish people to national self-determination, specifically in Israel, which is the ancestral and religious center of the Jewish people. They're right about that, okay? A Zionist generally is one who supports Israel, but the term Zionist has also been appropriated by anti-Semitics, anti-Jewish people as a euphemism for the term Jew, even when it is being used to target Jews specifically. I agree with that assessment there, but I'm going to elaborate on that at the end of this article because I believe, like I said earlier in the introduction, I believe something is being set up here by the forces that are not seen with the natural eyes. There's a setup being taking place here. The idea that Jews control other nations is a staple of anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, most notably those that formed the basis for Nazi ideology in the mid-20th century. I'm going to get into that in a minute. While married to Kim Kardashian in 2015, West traveled to Israel and met with then Jerusalem Mayor Nir Barkat. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. There's a picture of him, and Kanye's in the middle, and this president is on the right, and Kim Kardashian is on the left. An article goes on to say West has also claimed that Jews control Hollywood and recently showed reporters a list of Hollywood executives whom he claimed were Jewish. He also recently brought anti-Semitic and Holocaust denier Nick Fuentes to a private dinner with former President Donald Trump last week. Trump said he had not known who Fuentes was. Okay, so that's the end of that article there. But I wanted to mention something about what the writer of the article said, which I agree with extensively to some extent, because he talks about how that the term Zionism or Zionist has often been associated with the Jews in general. But as I said in the previous video, and as the article is stating here, the term Zionist or Zionist is a political faction. Okay? It's a political faction that some Jews do not support. Now, I have to elaborate on this some more because I want people to understand that a lot of Jews don't support because of many of the bad things that a lot of Jews consider the Zionists have done to them. Okay? And done not only to the Jews, but to people in general. Okay? That the Zionists do not support Judaism, which is the religion of the Jews. They don't support Judaism. The Zionists do not support Judaism. I said this in the previous video several hours ago. I don't say it here. Many of the Zionists support the Kabbalah, which is Jewish mysticism, basically. It's the occult. They support that concept. But they don't support Judaism. So you got a faction. You have some divisions here. But usually when you hear the term Zionists, when people generally rather hear the term Zionist, they think of Jews in general, which is a dangerous precedent to be set up. And what is my point? My point, as I said earlier here, is that I see something dangerous taking place here. Kanye West claiming that 300 people that may be Zionists that control our country. Is that true? I have no clue. Because he said maybe. He said maybe this, he wasn't sure. He said maybe. What's going on here? What is the bigger picture here? What I'm seeing is that there's a bigger picture taking place, whether Kanye West is aware of it or not. There's a bigger picture taking place here. And that bigger picture, if Kanye West is not careful, and if the American people are not careful, is another, how can I put it? Propaganda machine set up to demonize every Jewish person to the point where it will be easier to try to come against them, just like in Nazi Germany. In Nazi Germany, the Jews were successful business people. They were successful. They were making money. They took what was in their culture and they took it to Germany. They were like that in every country prior to getting to Germany. But when they came into Germany, they became prosperous. They became great people in scientific and science and education. They were very blessed, to use the biblical term, okay, because of what they embraced in their culture. To make a long story short, Jews, but Hitler and the Nazi regime began to create a system designed to hate on the Jews. Okay. And I'm leaving out some bits and pieces because that's a whole nother video by itself. But suffice it to say, because he wanted to exterminate the Jews based on his blaming them for the current economic situation that they were going through in Nazi Germany, at that time, Hitler blamed it on the Jews. So in order to eradicate the Jews, he had to come up with a propaganda system that would be able to justify getting rid of them. So he enlisted the aid and assistance of his minister of propaganda by the name of Joseph Goebbels. They created videos, or rather films, that showed rats, and I think I said this in the previous video, that showed rats scurrying at the base of buildings. And then they would show pictures of the Jews at the same time. The purpose was to demonize the Jewish people and make them look like rats. That way it would be easier to exterminate them. Now you're saying, what is this getting at, man? What are you getting at, Mr. Bowler? What I am seeing here, whether Mr. Kanye West is aware of it or not, is I'm seeing the same setup, but in a little bit more subtle way. Because as I said earlier, and as that article said, people tend to associate Zionism with the Jews in general. When you say Zionists, people generally think, oh, the Jews. That's what they think when they're two separate factions, where some Jews don't even support Zionism. But It's like, you say that, it generalizes all the Jews. And that's the way that Kanye West seems to be presenting it. And what I'm seeing, and hope I'm wrong in this, but what I am seeing is that down later on in the future, if people are not careful, we're going to have another upsurge of anti-Jewish rhetoric, another upsurge of people hating on the Jews in general, which will once again start up this persecution of Jews. And you say, wait a minute, that's an extreme statement, Mr. Bolin. Well, as a Christian, as a Bible-believing Christian who believe in Bible prophecy, the book of Revelation teaches in the 13th chapter and the 13th chapter, 17th chapter, 18th chapter, and some other chapters throughout later on, all the way to the 20th chapter, state that the beast, whom Christians often call the Antichrist, will persecute the Jews in mass. You thought Hitler was bad? The Antichrist, or the beast, whichever one you want to call him, will eclipse Hitler and all the world dictators. He will eclipse them in his attempt to destroy the Jews. Now you say, well, what's that got to do with anything? Because what I'm seeing here is a setup. Hopefully I'm wrong, but what I'm seeing here is a setup that is designed to demonize the Jews once again. So when the beast, i.e. the Antichrist, steps on the world scene, it will be easier for him to eradicate them, just like it was in Nazi Germany. They demonized the Jews in general. So then when Hitler came and said, we need to get rid of them, the German people was like, yeah, we need to get rid of them. You even had Christians in Germany, Christians and churches supporting Hitler because they had given in to the propaganda. Christians now supporting Hitler in Germany during this time. Why? Because they had given in to the propaganda that Hitler and Joseph Goebbels initiated that was designed to brainwash the German people into accepting this idea that the Jews were the cause of all their problems and that they were nothing but vermin and rats that we needed to eradicate wholesale. The same system, in my opinion, is being set up whether Kanye West realizes it or not. Another thing, I'm seeing groups that are supporting Kanye West, not all, but a significant number of groups, 2 of them, I'm not going to name on his channel, that are supporting Kanye West for his anti-Semitic stance. These 2 groups have been known and have a history of being anti-Jewish. Period. They can say what they want to say, but they know that. I have a family member who's a part of this group whom I literally had to cut off, basically, in terms of talking to and having conversations with because he's so gung-ho about this. Said, man, you got to respect my views. I respect your views, respect my views. He doesn't want to respect my views, and I'm pretty sure those of you that are watching this video, you know what group I'm talking about. They're very, very, very forceful with their belief system. They don't respect your belief system at all. They don't respect your view at all. They come at you because their justification is, well, if you resist it, then you don't want to know the truth. No, that's not the case. So this group is supporting Kanye West. I've seen videos of them supporting Kanye West. Another group that has had a history of anti-Jewish statements is supporting Kanye West. You see what I'm saying? All this support. Oh yeah, I side with him. I side with him. I support some of the things he's saying, but not all of the things he's saying. Okay, some of the things he's saying may be true, but you have to be careful that you don't categorize all the Jews, because when you say Jews, that's what people are going to think. That's what they're going to think. They're not going to think, oh, that's just the Zionists, and it's not all Jews. They're not going to think that, unfortunately. So I'm seeing a dangerous trend being set up here. And I hope and pray that people who watch this video will share this video and share other like-minded videos that give a little bit more information on what this is all about and what you see might be seeing set up. Now, before I end this video, I wanted to promote a book here that I think you guys might want to check out. The name of the book is The Illuminati, the Secret Society That Hijacked the World. Yes, I know a lot of people say, oh man, you're into these conspiracy theories. Before you start saying conspiracy theory, Get the book and read it yourself. This is one of many books that I have on the old so-called Illuminati. By the way, the Illuminati did exist at one point. Whether they exist today, no one knows for sure. It could be, in my personal opinion, I think they still exist. But they did exist. It was created by a man. In summation, it was created by a man by the name of Adam Weishaupt. Okay? And Adam Weishaupt was a professor of Canaan law. And he created the Illuminati and formed the Order of the Illuminati in 1776, which incidentally is the same year that America was founded. But that's another story, and I digress. It did exist at one point. So all this, well, that's a conspiracy theory. Mr. Boland is in conspiracy theories. I'm not into conspiracy theories. I'm into conspiracy truth. Okay? And that's been established. But anyway, this is the Illuminati, the secret society that hijacked the world, written by Jim Marrs. I think he passed some years ago. This book was written in 2017, and he has a section, I mentioned this in my previous video several hours ago. He has a section in this book that mentions about Zionism and what it is. And I thought that particular section in the book was very illuminating. Okay, very illuminating, and educated me and helped open my eyes, okay, to what that's all about. But like I said, I see a dangerous trend being set up here, a trend that hopefully people will be able to see and be able to reject it, because we're going to end up just like Nazi Germany if we're not careful. We're going to end up hating on all Jews just like Nazi Germany if we're not careful. Let me say this and end in this video, I promise you. I have seen so many, it's interesting how many people come against the Jews. I've seen people in our own church. I talk about how much they don't like the Jews, whatever personal situations that they had with the Jews. I don't know, they may have had some bad experiences with some Jews that they known of, but a lot of this stuff is fed in their mind from groups that reject the Jews. Okay, so now they getting this up and they're telling me, well, what this Jews that, and I had to talk to them. I said, wait a minute, hold it, stop right there, my sister, my brother. You need to be educated before you start saying it. You got people in the church saying this kind of stuff, and like I said. Christians in Nazi Germany were supporting Hitler and getting rid of the Jews because they fell for the propaganda. I hope that don't happen again here in America. I hope it don't happen again in America. But that's my words on it. What do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. God bless you all, and see you again.